Hello, everyone. You're listening to Tutia Bruja. I'm Bex Carlos, your host. This is a show, in case you're just now listening, thank you. Thank you for taking the chance on this. So, what do we talk about here? We talk about social justice stuff. We talk about witchy shit. I talk to Brujas living in their power. I talk to people who are just starting their spiritual journey. They're not really sure what they call themselves, but it's all really focused on the perspective of practitioners and people of color. Because honestly, anytime you watch a fucking film or read a book or something about witches, it's in the perspective of white folk. And that's great and dandy and whatever, but there's also 40% of the population that is more than just white people. So, yeah, I do the best that I can to talk to many of them, get their perspective, and just give you a little insight on what it means to be a witch, because there is no one answer. So, again, I'm Bex Carlos. It has now been the new year, and we are full on in the Age of Aquarius now. The Piscean era is over, and we just had a Cancer moon. Okay, so I don't know about you personally, but myself, Cancer moons, anything water, whether in a water season, whether we have a new moon or a full moon in a water sign, it's going to hit me heavy. So I'm just having a difficult time. I really do feel like the rain, and it's funny because it rained here. It just really just felt appropriate because I felt like it was washing away the last of the year, all of the just terrible stuff that happened. Personally, I'm someone who tends to love really big and gets my heart broken a lot. And I've realized through time and therapy and magic that it's because I sometimes was seeking something in a partner that I was seeking in myself. But I mean, I think that I had a really fun time dating. I met a lot of cool people. I met a lot of people who broke my heart. I feel like I broke some hearts. There's a couple of people that were like my person who got away in maybe another universe. But like here, it just wouldn't work, And I hope that we all have those romances and flings and experiences that make us feel alive because it's important. But I have a lot of sadness sometimes for how some of those things ended. I think sometimes because I overanalyze myself a lot and I just think, how could I have done this different? How could I have said this different? Or they didn't understand my reference. And I'm so neurotic sometimes. And that's my cross to bear. But, I get melancholy. And so a way that I've been trying to deal with that is to really just change my mental feelings. And what I mean when I say that is like, okay, the world is really shitty sometimes and a lot of terrible things happen and we are complicit in ways that we don't even know, and it's a bummer. But when we allow ourselves to spiral down and start to worry about everything and think like, how can I fix it, it really doesn't end well for you. And at the end of the day, we have to be able to process what we can process. And so if you're someone who, your energy just soaks up a lot of people's energy, you're an empath, or maybe you don't like the word empath, maybe you're just someone who's really responsive to people's energies. If that's you, something that I would recommend that you do is that really focus on setting mantras for what you want in life and what you are trying to manifest in life. For example, I am trying to work on forgiveness. Your girl is the sweetest person ever, but also I can be your worst enemy. And I've gotten to a point where I'm a lot more, how do I express this? Diplomatic, I guess. That was a skill that I lacked for a really long time. But something that I'm doing to just allow forgiveness for, myself, for the way that I was, for, existing with the knowledge that I had at the time. Something that I do is before I go to bed and when I wake up in the morning, I close my eyes and really focus on my intention. And I think to myself, I forgive myself for allowing people to treat me in a way that allowed my emotions to overtake my reason. And I forgive people for pouring their unresolved trauma and pain onto me. I release any energy that does not benefit me or serve me in my path going forward. In its place, I welcome abundance and prosperity for myself and those who I love who support me. And then push that energy out. And I do that, I feel a lot lighter. I think that when it's the last thing I think of before I go to bed, and it's the first thing I think when I wake up in the morning, I think that it helps me create a little bit more internal balance. And I'm just trying to get to a point where I don't feel so tired. And I mean, we're only 4 days into the new year, and I feel like it's been helping. And, that's not to say that I'll forget to do it one day, or maybe not say it both times, or, maybe I'll start saying it more times. I don't know. But I think the thing about being a witch and manifesting your reality is that consistency is key. Something that I particularly struggled with my relationships is just allowing people to be in spaces around me when they didn't feel good. You know what I mean? And when I say that, I mean like they didn't make me feel good about myself. The energy wasn't right. Sometimes there were times in my life where I was a little codependent and would just hang out with people. If you are someone who really struggles with FOMO, and FOMO is something that maybe keeps you hanging around individuals that don't really align with your vision of life, or the kind of world that we want to establish that's more filled with peace and love and equity. If that's something that's important to you, you have to kind of dig into yourself and do that shadow work. And it's really going to help you be better and stronger. Thank you for listening to this episode of Tutia Bruja. If you appreciate this, and have questions and stuff to talk about, like if you're like, what's a Cancer moon? Whatever, send me an email. I love connecting and passing on some of the wisdom that I do have to individuals who want to connect with their roots. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Clubhouse, which honestly, if you're not on Clubhouse, I highly recommend it. So I think I'm going to start doing on Sundays on Clubhouse Brujeria Domingos, or 11:30 Central Time. I'm just going to go on there and I'll be doing like tarot readings. If you pop into my room, we can talk natal charts, we can talk crystals that you might be interested in. Clubhouse is dope, y'all. If you haven't had the opportunity to use it, I highly recommend it. You do have to be an iPhone user, which I know not everyone's an iPhone user, and I respect that, but it is in beta testing right now and just for Apple. So if you are able to access it, I highly recommend it. Reach out to me because I can send you an invite. I'd love to meet you on Clubhouse. I'd love to chat and I'd love to connect. I love spiritual stuff and I love trying to figure out how we can grow and be better, because at the end of the day, are we not here to figure it all out and learn the lessons that maybe we didn't learn in past lives? I don't know. I think I am. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you. That's it. Bye.